5 young men murdered. Over 150 violent abduction drug rapes. 2 people arrested. 1 person found guilty for only one of the murders. An alleged family of serial killers consisting of highly respected members of the community, including, but not limited to, doctors, judges, and members of parliament. Stay tuned to hear about these horrific crimes. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. Good news for those scaredy cats out there. The number of serial killers is on the decline. However, there are still serial killers roaming the streets, but the numbers are not as high as they once were. In the 1980s, there were over 700 serial killers active at once. Some serial killers are still on the run, while others are new on the scene. Despite the declining numbers, these killers are just as scary as the originals. Let's have a look at some of the serial killers that are still at large. The Long Island serial killer. When a New York sex worker named Shannon Gilbert went missing in an affluent Long Island neighborhood in 2010, searching for her would lead to several grisly discoveries. While investigating Shannon's disappearance on a stretch of beach along a coastal highway, investigators uncovered 4 buried bodies. After expanding their search further down the coast, 6 more bodies were found. The spring after the bodies were discovered, investigators said they believed all of the murders were committed by the same killer. Some of the victims had been missing since 2006. Body parts of the victims washed ashore years earlier in the same city, approximately 50 miles away. Most of the remains found were sex workers who advertised their services on Craigslist. But, oddly, there were also the remains of a toddler and a cross-dressed Asian man. 2 of the victims' loved ones received taunting phone calls asking about their daughter's whereabouts in 2007 and 2009, 1 year before their bodies were found. The calls were untraceable. As of 2022, police say they feel confident that they are closer to making an arrest and that they now believe the murders were committed by a ring of people. Jeff Davis 8. Between 2005 and 2008, the bodies of 8 women appeared in the swamps and bayous of Jefferson Davis Parish. All 8 women between the ages of 17 and 30 were police informants. Some victims had even reported on the others before their deaths. In addition to that bizarre fact, 2 of the victims were cousins. An investigative reporter would eventually point the finger at Louisiana law enforcement, believing a police officer was responsible for the murderers of the 8 women. This theory is plausible given that the main thing that connected all the murder victims was the police department. In October 2019, Showtime produced a documentary on the murders called Murder in the Bayou, which brought new and much-needed attention to the investigation. The Jefferson 8 case is even more disturbing because the perpetrator is possibly investigating the murders he committed. Many people consider the Jefferson Davis 8 case one of police corruption. This begs the question as to why people in higher places seem to be getting away with murder. Stay tuned to hear about some horrific crimes allegedly committed by those in the highest of places. Rainbow Maniac. The Rainbow Maniac is a serial killer in Carapicuíba, Brazil, who preyed on gay men and male sex workers. Over 18 months, the Rainbow Maniac murdered 13 men execution style. Whoever this Rainbow Maniac was, approached his victims and killed them with 2 shots to the head. To humiliate his victim, the Rainbow Maniac leaves his victim with his pants pulled down around his legs. Although Sao Paulo, where Carapicuíba is located, is a progressive city, at the time of the killings in 2007 to 2008, several conservative groups voiced their intolerance for homosexuals. It is assumed the suspect is someone who hates homosexuality and is looking to reduce the number in the community. A retired policeman was arrested for the murders in 2011, but the charges against him were dropped, and he walked free. So, the Rainbow Maniac may still be stalking the streets of Carapicuíba. West Mesa Bone Collector. A woman walking her dog in 2009 on a mesa in Albuquerque, New Mexico, found what she believed to be human bones. Investigators arrived and confirmed that they were indeed human bones, and by the end of their search, they would uncover the remains of 11 more missing women. The women aged from 15 to 22, and one was even 4 months pregnant. Although some victims had connections to drugs and sex work, others did not. They all disappeared between 2001 and 2005. The only evidence the investigators have to go on are satellite photos from over the years. Not all seems lost though, as investigators have some leads. One suspect is a man who was shot dead by the boyfriend of a woman he lured home to strangle. The man lived on land connected to the mass grave, and the murders stopped after he died. In 2010, investigators said there were 2 women they believed had information on a potential suspect, but they refused to speak for legal reasons. Hopefully, one day their situation will change. I70 Killer. 6 people were killed between April 8th and May 7th, 1992, along Highway I70. All 6 of the murders took place between Terre Haute, Indiana, and Wichita, Kansas. The victims of the I70 murderer had several things in common. 5 of the victims were women with brown hair. Investigators believe the killer thought the 6th victim was a woman because he had long hair and a ponytail. Each victim worked at a roadside convenience store and was shot with a .22 caliber bullet. Witnesses described the perpetrator as white with red-brown hair and 5'6", about 140 pounds. In 2021, law enforcement released a new sketch of the killer aging him 30 years to show what he would look like today. Law enforcement also released a description of the gun used to commit the crimes, which they believe may be the clue that catches the I70 murderer. The Family Murders. The Family Murders is the name given to a series of 5 sadistic murders committed by a loosely connected group of individuals who came to be known as the Family. This group was believed to be involved in the kidnapping and sexual abuse of approximately 150 teenage boys and young men, as well as the torture and murder of 5 young men aged between 14 and 25 in the city of Adelaide, South Australia. Police have arrested the man they believe was the architect behind all these crimes. However, it's clear he didn't commit these crimes on his own. He needed people to assist in luring victims, performing surgery, administering dosage, transporting victims, holding them captive, disposing of bodies, and, most importantly, maintaining silence. He had help from his carefully assembled network of enablers, some who were helpers and some who were participants. Police say the family is made up of a network of 12 or 13 people, with 3 main players who assisted von Einem and the rest being associates, with varying degrees of involvement. The 3 main lieutenants are described as the businessman, the doctor, and the former male prostitute. Bevan Spencer von Einem is the only person to be charged over the family murders. He was found guilty of the murder of 15-year-old Richard Kelvin in 1984 and sentenced to a non-parole period of 24 years. Von Einem is still in prison and unlikely to be released. If you would like us to dig deeper into any of these cases, let us know in the comments section. Thanks for watching.